All right, let's finish up with pick 6. All right.
Sure.
Baseball playoffs. Baseball on the mind. Pick your 6 favorite baseball broadcasters of all time. Current, retired, old, young, dead, alive, however you want to do it. Me first?
Yeah. Of course.
Okay.
You're first every day.
All right. I'm coupling Harry Caray with Steve Stone.
Okay. All right.
I'm coupling them.
Okay.
They were a great team.
Well, and plus Steve Stone.
I'm also coupling Bob Costas with Al
What are you
Michaels.
doing?
There were too many good ones. I couldn't leave them all out. These are my 2 favorite. These are the 2 guys I respect more than anybody in the business, Bob Costas and Al Michaels. Number 4, Jack Buck was such a peach, whether he called baseball, football, whatever, and he gave me a lot of good advice at the beginning of my career, so I really enjoyed him. Jon Miller just knows how to have a good time on the air.
You're putting all your friends
Giants
on the list.
broadcaster. Kuiper and Krukow are the second best broadcast team going right now. Kuiper and Kruk, as they're known in San Francisco, they'll be in the Hall of Fame.
I'm surprised you didn't put yourself on that list.
Second to only number 1. There's nobody better than Vin Scully when it comes to baseball.
Get out of your system, kid. That was his baseline nature when Ethier was whacking in the dugout. He said, "Get it out of your system, kid." Number 6, Bob Costas, and I was with him when he was doing St. Louis Spirits of St. Louis, and we were kids, and I thought this guy's going to be a great broadcaster. I hope that I'm able to accomplish in my field. We were both 22, 23, and of course he did, and I didn't. Number 5, Jack Buck. He was part of this deal. I don't put them together, but Harry Caray, Jack Buck, and Joe Garagiola, best team in the history of the world in any sport. All 3 of them with the St. Louis Cardinals, and I grew up listening to them. Number 4, I said Harry Caray. Whatever you thought of Harry, Harry was.
It was entertaining.
Like nobody else in the history of broadcasting. Number 3, Tim McCarver, and we've talked about that. I used him the other day. You laugh at me, but Tim and I grew up together in Memphis, and he's still a good friend. We lived in the same building in New York City, and people thought he talked too much, but he imparted more information and wisdom and really knew the game. Should have been a manager at some point. Bob Uerker, I think I misspelled that. It's number 2. Yeah. So pay no attention. I was doing it. I was doing it in the doctor's office. I was just trying to put it down. And I said they'll correct it.
Yeah,
of course they didn't.
Me.
Of course, that's why when the Post gets rid of editors, that's a mistake, because that's why we have editors. And number 1, Vin Scully. He's the greatest of all time. But I would add a guy in there that nobody knows. So Red Barber did the Brooklyn Dodgers before Vin Scully and broke Vin Scully in. And Red Barber, all these cliches that we hear, he would say, well, he's coming up the plate. He's sitting in the catbird seat. And nobody goes, what does that mean? Well, in a cage, the bird would sit on a little swing. And he when they were cliches, he came up with these things like, he's at the hot corner. And people would, now those are cliches, but they were original thoughts at the time.
And a Southern guy who made a name for himself in Brooklyn.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I went to New York, and I failed as a Southern guy in New York.